Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, it's good to see you. We survived 18 weeks of regular season NFL. It's over. It's over now.
It's all over. And look at me. I'm in my NASCAR swag. If you're watching us on YouTube, I'm ready. J-Dog, you're taking us to a NASCAR event.
The Clash of the Coliseum is coming up. I didn't know we were starting with a NASCAR promo, but it's true. It's at the Coliseum. It's a few weeks away. It's coming actually on the week between the AFC NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, that Sunday where there's no football. So I wanted to make sure that we had plans and something to do, so we weren't looking for football on that Sunday coming up.
I'm excited. I've never been to a NASCAR game. Grew up in Florida. You think we'd be like NASCAR fanatics going to games every week? Not games. They're not even a game. Just cars going.
Well, there's like one oval. It's in Daytona. If you don't live in Daytona, you don't go all the time. But that's enough NASCAR talk for this year on the podcast. So, Mike, the NFL regular season is over. Shout out to we had the Sports Hangover contest on gambling. Shout out to the winner, Ricky Applebaum, a friend of mine, 62-28. Picking 5 games a week. I've never seen anything like it.
He was really good. He would have been top, I swear to God, top 10 in the actual contest. He did a great job. I emailed him this morning, said congrats. I'm like, hey, do you want to like maybe do like a real team in Vegas next year with picks? And he wrote me back and he's like, I swear I'm not a savant. Like I just got really lucky. He did a great job. He only won $1,000 from us, but
it's pretty good.
Yeah, but if you were in the contest, you would have been making upwards toward, like if you're in top 10, easily a couple $100,000. So I feel bad he didn't enter the real contest.
And that's sick to think that he gave up on a few $100,000 to join our silly pool to win 1,000. But to his point, I think we can take a deep dive if you want to. But you know, our lines locked on Tuesday. I know the contest lines lock on Wednesday. I know our picks you could change up until 1 p.m. on Sunday. Yeah. The contests they're due earlier, I think Friday. So that changes.
Well, it depends. No, if you are in the contest living in Vegas without a proxy, you could submit, I think, up until 4:00 on Saturday. But the way I did it when I was doing it, we had to submit like Friday night or early Saturday morning to our proxy, and then our proxy would go in and submit the picks. But yeah, we also in our contest, it was a little different. We never had like flat lines. We never had like 3, 4, 7, 10, anything like that. It was always a half, 9.5, 10.5. So no pushes or ties. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like there's a slight advantage, but also there was like, 20 of us in this pool. So still really good. But next year he's back. He's like, I'll definitely come back and play next year.
Also, defending champs.
I know he can play for the next 10 years and buy in. But yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. You could slowly see how people kind of fell off. I'm definitely making the Booby Award, which you almost won. Worth a little more because I think towards the like halfway of the season, people kind of get like depressed and see like, damn, I'm never catching this guy. And if there was a little more money in the back end of losing, I think it'd be a fun competition. So definitely want to add like a little more perks for a lot more, even quarters. I think all 3 or all 4 quarters were all won by people that not even in the top 10. So that's how it all goes, which is crazy. Which is a lot of fun. It's just like kind of crazy how every 4 weeks something new is happening in the league.
We had gamblers of all skill levels in this contest too. So everyone listening who didn't get a chance to sign up, we'll have the info next summer, next fall, and we'll get you in for the 2024 season. We had great gambling experts like the Gambling Goose. We had you, who's I'd put kind of in the middle. We have people like your what?
I was 4th place. I was fighting with
I saw you were 54-36, which was really, really good, but also 8 games back of our champ. So you have some work to do there to be the best. I know you want to be the best. I know you wanted to beat everyone in the league because we invited a lot of novices in, a lot of Hungarians.
How about this? I beat most of
your friends.
I beat
friends
everybody
from your high school days.
I beat everybody except for the 2 random people that joined the league. And that was good. I was glad that like our lawyer friend was not in the top, 3. That would have made me mad. So I'm glad he didn't end up.
You beat him. You beat me. I almost won the Booby Award. I actually am the first loser in the league because I lost it by 1 game. Did I lose it in the same exact moment that the Dolphins lost the division last night? Yes, that did happen. I lost both at the exact same time. So that sucks. So let's talk about a few teams, Mike. our teams, basically the teams we talk
Sure.
about and support, generally made the playoffs. The Dolphins are in, the Bucks are in,
Yeah.
mutual friend, the Steelers somehow got
Which is
in.
crazy. Yeah.
Except there's one team that didn't. Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, where you
Yeah.
at?
Didn't get in. It was all because of Green Bay. Green Bay won the game. I thought Chicago was going to win it. It was a fun weekend. I feel like no other like last few years, it hasn't felt like there were so many games on the line that decided where everybody was going. I also won money with Houston winning and Jags losing, which is a whole nother story with the Jags not even in the playoffs.
Great bet. No one saw that coming. Like no one could have seen 5 weeks ago that Jacksonville wouldn't be in the playoffs, except you. You saw it.
Yeah. And can I tell you this? I actually cashed out for the first time from my account. I've never once cashed out of my platform where I gamble. First time ever. They sent me Bitcoin. I was very excited. I had real cold hard cash. It's now in my bank account. It felt good. It was weird. It was like, you know what? I keep always just spending. So I saved. I have a good amount still in there, but I have enough. I wanted to just take a little out just to feel like a winner. And I felt like I won a lot. Like I won a little fantasy.
You buried the lead. You've been through a lot of week 18s and you've never cashed out before. But this week 18, it's like you had a whole season and you're cashing out ahead of the playoffs, which is like, well, you think you'd want some bankroll to play some playoff bets, right?
There will be some bankroll in the playoffs. I have a little bankroll left. But I will tell you, our mutual friend, I know we're going way off topic here, but our mutual friend is also doing a playoff gambling pool. And I'm going to tell you my strategy.
Wait, don't tell people about that because they're not allowed to sign up, right?
They're not allowed to sign up, but it's still like I'm making a bet every week, and it is going to be a bet going all in every week because every year I'm like dabbling, like, oh, I should only do like 20%, whatever the minimum is. You have to put 25% in. I'm going all in $1,000 every week. And then if it's $2,000, it's $2,000 every week into this pool. It's fake money. But I'm going all in because I hate by the end. It's like, oh, I have $50 left. I have to hit like a 100-to-1 odds. That's dumb.
You might have $0 left the way you're talking.
Yeah, I might. But I think I'd rather do that and go out in like, the third week than the Super Bowl. So we'll see. Hopefully it works for me this year.
Hopefully that works. We're going to do a playoff draft coming up where we're going to pick our teams. It's our 14th annual. We've done it the last 14 playoffs. There's always a winner here. So it's kind of like a power rankings. So you see our confidence level in some of the playoff teams. We're going to talk about some of the coaching moves, do a little mock draft preview. People are talking about that. I want to mention, though, Dolphins, Bucks, Steelers. I have a note on each one. I need rapid reactions to what I'm going to tell you on each team.
Okay.
Start with the Dolphins. Tyreek's house burning down on Wednesday as he's in a boot walking outside of his house. So injured. They have like 6 to 8 starters now out with injury. The Dolphins are cursed. Is it true?
Listen, not only are the Dolphins cursed, there was an alien invasion that week as well. Did you not see the videos of like 100,000?
Tyreek did look slower. He may have been replaced with a human. He may have left this planet.
There's like 100 cops out front of a mall, and there was alien creatures out there.
I never saw anyone attribute this to why they actually said they were aliens, except for all the cops outside.
I have no idea. I watch a lot of weird videos, and people are like, "Oh, if you look at
I know
there was like a lot of like stuff like if you flip the location of it, it's actually Antarctica, and there's a portal." Whole bunch of stuff. That's for another podcast. Okay. But yeah, I do think Dolphins are cursed. You were texting me before, and I'm like, oh, Dolphins got this. Listen, the Dolphins technically didn't need the game. They are going to the playoffs. They didn't win the AFC East. That's okay. I do not think the Bills are that good, but they managed to win the game. I think if you guys are healthy and things are back in place, you can get through this. You can do it. Wow. But I will say, it is a little scary that I sent you that on Instagram, that little DM. The Patriots beat more plus 500 teams than Miami did this year. And it's not a good sign going into the playoffs where a lot of these teams are winners. And who's their first matchup this week? Their first matchup.
It's at Kansas City. And the problem, you say it's not a big deal. The problem is it's going to be 10 degrees, Mike. They're from Miami. Yeah. That doesn't work. Tua is from Hawaii. I mean, come on.
Listen, Jeremy, I think you're going to be okay. Kansas City, not that good. None of the players can catch the balls. Travis Kelce's about to retire and just go marry Taylor Swift and run off into the world. I think you're fine. I think you win this game. It's going to be a close one. There's no way in hell I'm betting on this game, but I do believe you could win.
This is shocking. I won't be betting on the Dolphins side of it in our little contest you just previewed. That was a good rapid reaction. Next one, the Bucks. Yeah. They got better by going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. 9 wins with Brady, 10 for Baker. How cool is that?
Jeremy, I need you to pull the tape from preseason when I said Baker's going to have a good
hang on.
Yeah. When Baker's going to have a good season, Baker's having a good season right now. And I said it last week. I put a bet on the Bucks to win the Super Bowl. This could be the run, getting a little hot. Listen, they're not good. They're not the best.
I mean, they didn't look that good against the Panthers. It was 6-0 most of the game.
They didn't look good. But wait, this week they are playing the Eagles. Eagles also don't look good. Now, I, as a Baker fan and a semi-Bucks fan, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks beat Philly this week. And I really think it could happen. So I will be placing a bet on this for sure. Eagles don't look good. And I don't know what's going on because they didn't technically need to play in that Giants game, right? Like
the Eagles shouldn't have played. Did you see Jalen Hurts' finger?
Yeah.
Like he should have not been out there.
I don't know what's going on. Like coaching, like doesn't make sense. I mean, wasn't this also for the Lions too? Like technically the Lions didn't need to play, but they played.
They also lost Laporta. Like there's a lesson here. The Dolphins lost guys when they didn't necessarily have to either. Seeding doesn't matter as much. If you're in the playoffs, maybe rest your guys. Week 18, we added this extra game. We're playing regular season games on January 7th, which by the way, feels too late. I don't think we need that 18th week. Like let's get to the playoffs this weekend.
So are you saying bring that cut off one of the preseason games and bring it earlier in August?
No, I'm just saying we added this extra game recently, this 18th game. I don't need it.
You don't need it.
I don't need it. So many guys were hurt yesterday. So many guys got hurt and playing meaningless games ahead of the playoffs. It's like we've been doing this since summer. It is cold in LA now in January. Like we've been doing this a long time, and I'm not sure we still need to be doing it. But I know it was an extra week that delivered you money in certain ways. My last rapid reaction here: the Steelers. Tell me if this is the truth, Mike. Do the Steelers have their franchise quarterback in Mason Rudolph? Was he lurking on the depth chart, third string all along?
Jeremy, according to our mutual friend, Kenny is still the starter of the team. He was delusional. I'm like, what are you talking about? Mason Rudolph is playing great. He's like, no. Kenny's our starter. And I don't understand it. So he still believes that. I think he's playing great. The team it looks like the Steelers everybody was hoping we would see. Maybe they're not the best team, but they're in the playoffs, winning season again. But if they lose this, does everybody get fired? Like if they lose this playoff game, or is everybody just coming back and they're just going to do the same mediocre season again?
What is this Mike Tomlin firing thing? Are we still doing this, Mike? They just made the playoffs. We had a special guest, the host of the Entertainment Arena podcast, Thomas Schultz, came on a few weeks ago. He said Tomlin will be fired. You just said it. He made the playoffs. They went 10-7 with a garbage roster. A few weeks ago, we said they might be the worst team in the league after they lost at home to the Cardinals and the Patriots. Why would anyone think Tomlin would be fired?
Pittsburgh people want him fired. They're right.
What's up with that?
Jeremy, you got to ask them. I have no idea what's going on.
That's my question.
They want him fired. There's a lot of coaches getting fired. I mean, it might be actually, if you look at it, might be a good time to fire your coach because there's so many available coaches that come back in, right? Everybody's getting fired.
I do like that, Mike. And it's a really good time to talk about the coaching carousel. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about my new Monday morning trick. It's Magic Mind, and I love it so much. A lot of these coaches, a lot of these hiring people who are going through the coaching cycle, they could probably use some Magic Mind, some more focus, because we see a lot of bad coaches out there. We're going to talk about Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, all those guys coming up. I want to tell you about Magic Mind. It's my new Monday morning routine. I love it so much. It's a new partner of ours on the show. I have a problem on Monday mornings transitioning from the weekend to the weekday, getting your mind into things, getting your focus. That's why I decided to take Magic Mind, this little shot that improved my morning so much, got me to focus, but not the caffeine that coffee often gives. I know you've tried it too. You love it, and we both love it so far.
It's just such a great little pick me up, helps you focus, helps you do the work. You know, when you're sitting there Monday morning, you just take it, and it's not that coffee vibe. You don't get the jitters, you don't get the energy and the dip. This is like sustained focus. I love it. Right now they're in Sprouts. So you can go try it in Sprouts. Magic Mind's in Sprouts. But if you want, you can get 20% off on the website. Use the code, the Sports Hangover, and get a subscription. Sign up. It's great stuff.
MagicMind.com. The Sports Hangover is the code. You're going to get a free month. It's also in Sprouts if you want to try it out first. I love it. You love it. We're telling everyone about it. And so you should definitely check it out.
We are.
All right, Mike, coaching carousel. Do you want to talk a little coaching news?
Let's do it. What do you got? Do you want some sounds? I have
Yeah.
what kind of sound do we have?
a
Here we go.
segment for it. That's a Black Monday sound if I ever heard it, because there's Black Monday across the NFL. First of all, you don't have to comment on this. I'm so happy Arthur Smith is fired. That guy is a clown show. He was yelling at people after the game yesterday. He has so many weapons on the Falcons. They were terrible. I don't like Arthur Smith. He's also the heir to the FedEx throne, which pisses me off.
Can I say something real quick? I want to give the BDE to Jameis Winston for doing what he did as a teammate.
Play that sound. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Hold on. I'm moving it all around here.
Yeah.
There it is.
Big Dick Energy winner of the week.
My big dick energy goes to Jameis Winston. During the game, they were up 40 something to like 17 or something. Jameis goes out there and they were just going to spike the ball, but he said, as a team, they decided to give Jameson Williams the ball, right, and just run it in for a touchdown. I love it as a team. I think he's a great teammate. He brings the energy. That man has not been a starter for a long time. He couldn't even see for a long time. He had to get LASIK surgery to actually see. I love what he did there. Now, it seems like people weren't as happy as I was when I saw that, and I just love his attitude. Just talking to reporters, he's like, so you're mad at the whole team for doing this? It's like, we agreed as a team. And I
you couldn't believe it, right?
Yeah. It's like, this is a team effort. And I really liked it. Respect to Jameis Winston. I also have a photo with him at Gat's Deli in Tampa when he was the Bucs QB.
You do, and that is the photo that comes up every time I call or text you,
nice.
which is great. That's my favorite one. Jameis is a gift that keeps on giving. Every
really
time
is.
he appears, we just gave him an award recently for the empty briefcase speech that rallied the team. And if the Packers had lost and the Seahawks had lost, the Saints would have been in the playoffs. They weren't that far away. Or if the Bucs lost, they were right on the door. They didn't get in despite Dennis Allen being terrible. Arthur Smith is actually terrible. My other big dick energy, Mike, is we're jumping all over. I'll get back to the coaches in a second. Is Arthur Smith used to be in Tennessee. Derrick Henry went off on the Jags, prevented the Jags from making the playoffs, and then gave a speech thanking the fans in Tennessee. Derrick Henry, a class act. I know running backs are dying a death. He won't be paid very well. He'll probably have to move on and go to a new team. But BDE Derrick Henry for running over boys for a long, long time in Tennessee.
This is probably a whole nother podcast, but I don't know where Derrick Henry is going to go. It seems like I thought
plenty of off-season time.
I know, but I will say something real quick. Last season, I thought there were so many moves, and I feel like this season there's going to be a lot of moves because I can't wait to see what Chicago's going to do with that draft pick. And I know we're bouncing around everywhere, but everything just ended and there's just so much movement and conversations that you keep seeing popping up.
This is why we take Magic Mind. So we're focused on Monday mornings. When we record Monday night, we bounce around, but in the mornings we're extra focused. Let's get back to the coaches before mock draft. Bill Belichick is still a coach in New England at this hour at 6:30 Eastern on Monday night of the 8th. I don't expect that to last long. Maybe you're listening to this on Tuesday morning on your commute and he's already been let go from the Patriots. It could happen in the next 12 to 24 hours. He's going somewhere. And I have two teams in mind. Do you want to hear my most likely teams?
Yeah.
I think that might surprise you. My two are the Falcons and the Panthers. They are two owners who are rich AF, David Tepper, and then Mr. Home Depot, Arthur Blank with the Falcons. They're in a winnable division. You saw the Bucs. They're not that good. They won the division. The Panthers are there. And then it's the Falcons and the Saints. Super winnable. And then the quarterback's not on the roster. I'm going to say if Belichick goes either place, the quarterback he plays with is not there, and he will bring in a quarterback. If that's the Panthers, Bryce Young, you're built like a backup. Just start being a backup now. If it's the Falcons, more options, right? You have maybe a Russell Wilson connection people are talking about in Atlanta. Could you see Russell and Belichick in Atlanta?
Okay, this is a lot. I don't think I could see Russ on a lot of these teams, but I don't think Belichick is going to a team that does not have a quarterback and does not have assets to move around.
Oh.
I don't think Carolina has enough to. They don't have anything. They have no draft picks. They gave it away. It's first overall.
But they have an owner willing to overspend. They do have that.
They do, but that means free agency. That means what are you gonna trade if you have no assets? I honestly, Bill Belichick to the what is it called? The Chargers. I almost called them the San Diego Chargers. Go out here a little bit. I know Vegas is open. I don't think he's going to go out to Vegas. I think
Vegas is not real open. I think Antonio Pierce did really well there.
But I kept seeing all these reports that Jim, is it Jim or who's the other guy?
We'll
Harbaugh?
We'll get to Jim.
He might be coming over there. I just think Belichick is going to a team that is right on the verge of like, we could win this. We just need a coach in place. I don't think Atlanta and Carolina are those teams because they are not a team that is actually going to win anything for a while until they get it straight. But if you out of those two, I'd say Atlanta is more likely than Carolina or Charlotte, whatever it is.
I could see Atlanta for sure. Carolina may be possible. Jim Harbaugh, you mentioned him. You invoked his name. He's coaching right now in the national championship game for college football. It's been a long time since Michigan's had this opportunity. So people are listening to this. He already won or lost. One thing I can tell you for certainty is he's coached his last game in college football. I have Jim Harbaugh making the leap to the NFL. We saw the scandal city with Michigan and the sign stealing this year. He was suspended 6 games. He's flirted with the NFL before. Now with Michigan playing in the championship, whether they won or not, it's like your stock is so high. It'll never be higher in college football. It's a perfect time to jump to the NFL. We heard also, I had a little source tell me yesterday that Jim Harbaugh wanted to coach the Chargers last year. So did Sean Payton. And we've said it so many times.
Yeah.
Why did they keep Staley with all these guys who are available? Now the Chargers job is available. Justin Herbert, you're talking about a team with a quarterback. I mean, that's the team, right? That's the Justin Herbert. So I've got Harbaugh on the Chargers, done deal, official in the next 2 weeks. If there was a way for me to bet that right now, I would.
I do like that, but I do think the Raiders are number 1, and I think Chargers are number 2.
Wow.
I think Raiders. I don't know. It just feels like the Raiders feel like they need a splash instead of just hiring a guy that was on, that was a offensive coach or something. I think they want a name. I think they need, I don't know if they need it, but I know they want it, and that owner wants it. I mean, that guy's insane, but he wants something like that. So I think, and I don't know what the Chargers deal is. Like
the Raiders played so well with Antonio Pierce.
They did.
Like that'd be a mistake to let him go, right?
I agree. And I think the team rallied around him, but I just don't think that's the team we're going to see next year. I don't think that's the quarterback we're going to see. I don't think that's the coach we're going to see. We'll see what happens.
You don't think O'Connell's the quarterback of the future in Las Vegas?
No, I don't.
We'll go to Las Vegas in a few weeks and we'll find out what the Raiders fans are saying. My last coach, you're the official guy to comment on this. It's Pete Carroll in Seattle. I saw him on some lists. Now 72 years old, not confirmed to be coming back. He's going to think about it. Mike, give us your best sources, your best feeling. Maybe you texted Pete after the game yesterday. Yeah. What's the vibe on Pete Carroll in Seattle?
Me and Pete were texting. This man does not feel old at all. I don't know if you saw those reports. Does not feel old. It is ready to go. He will be back in 2024 without a doubt. He brought a lot of love to the city of Seattle. I don't know, Drew Lock and Geno Smith. They love each other so much. There's a lot of passion there right now. I think the team is bonding well. I would say as a fan, I would love a real quarterback in there, but it seems like it's just like a very close team. So I like that. And if they add a few assets to it, it could be a great team next year, but Pete's definitely coming back. That man hasn't aged. I feel like he's looked 65 for the last 15 years.
It's weird because he looked 65 when he was 55 and he looks 65 when he's 72. So it's funny how that happens. It's the
best. I think if you look older when you're younger and then never really age past that, it's a great look. I hope I'm great.
It's ideal. Like just get to that point and stay there for 20 years. I don't think Pete Carroll has been winning many games lately. Not enough games is what I would say. I think Seattle is looking at the situation and they're not going to say for certain that he's back. I agree with you. Bring Pete back and get a real quarterback in there. We saw Sleepy Geno at times this year. I know he broke the record for most game-winning drives in a season. That's a cool stat until you figure out that they shouldn't have been losing all those games when he led them back to win. And he slept through first halves a lot of times. We saw it with our own eyes. I don't know what's going on in Seattle. I could see some shakeups there because it's just not good enough to compete with the Niners and even the Rams. I can't feel good seeing that Rams roster get in the playoffs over Seattle.
It'd be very sad if Pete left. I feel like he's the heart of the team, and if it happens, it happens. But I don't think it's time yet. So hopefully he's back next season. I do have a little Scandal City. If you want to jump on some Scandal City real quick. Scandal.
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
Jeremy, I feel like a lot of stuff happened last week. Pat McAfee had Aaron Rodgers on. Aaron Rodgers called out Jimmy Kimmel that he was maybe on a list of Epstein's list.
He wasn't on the list. A lot of people were, but not Jimmy.
Wasn't on the list, but then there was fake list going around claiming that he was on there. So everybody was like, doctoring all these lists and everything. It seems like the controversy now is more ESPN is in a fight with Pat McAfee in a way, but Pat McAfee kind of won. And I don't really know what the full drama is, but it does seem like ESPN may have a problem on their hands if things keep happening like this. Now, I don't think it's Pat McAfee. I think it was Aaron Rodgers that kind of did this, but I don't think it's a good look because if you think about it, Jimmy is really the face of like ABC, right? He is the man at ABC. He does all the Oscar stuff. He did all these award shows. So it's just a very interesting situation. I don't know where anybody went with it, but it does seem like Aaron Rodgers is either losing it or just trying to do this because he knows it draws an audience. And I don't know where we're at. At first I thought, I liked Aaron Rodgers this year. Then as the year goes on, I really like Jimmy Kimmel a lot more than Aaron Rodgers. So I'm on Jimmy Kimmel's
you're caught
side.
in a tough spot here because you used to like these two guys and now you're more on Jimmy Kimmel. You're right about it because it all happened on Disney airwaves about the face of Disney. And so that's the first problem. And so if it happened on another network, sure, there's a back and forth, but it's not the same high stakes. Later in the week, Pat McAfee was also criticizing a current ESPN executive, like number 2. In charge of ESPN. He didn't do it on ESPN. He did it on ESPN Plus on his third hour, which is apparently he thought was okay because it wasn't on TV. Crazy stuff. We've seen this type of thing happen before. They had the Barstool guys do a show on ESPN. It lasted maybe 2 episodes, maybe only 1. ESPN talent came out and said this is ridiculous, and they got rid of them. And so there's a precedent for pulling that ripcord super soon. This is the first year. We're 6 months into a 5-year deal with Pat McAfee to have his show on ESPN. It would be a super soon pulling of the ripcord. I don't think it'll stop. I don't think McAfee will not have scandals every step of the way. And whether ESPN's okay with it or not, we'll see. But I think it will continue.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I wonder what's going to happen. I'm sure they'll tone it down a little. I mean, McAfee became the face of every single event on ESPN. He has College Game Day. He's doing his show 5 days a week. He's literally everywhere. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of exciting, it feels like, because I don't really know where or what's going to, because they're not just going to fire him one day, right? They're either going to fine him.
No, something has to happen. Suspension. There's probably an order of things, but I don't think it's very exciting for ESPN executives as they cringe watch his show every day, waiting to see who is next on the list. My Scandal City from last week. This was a guy who used to be as big a deal as Pat McAfee in sports media, Jason Whitlock. Do you even know Jason Whitlock, Mike?
Yeah, didn't he start like the other version of not the Ringer of what was it called? Grantland? It was
called The Undefeated. Yeah. There was like an arm and a franchise that he started. He used to be a big deal. He was on ESPN and Fox all the time, and he's fallen off. I think he's very conservative now. He might have a YouTube show like everyone else. He had a tweet last week saying, "This is actually about you." I don't know if you saw this, but he had a tweet about an ad that he was served from Temu at the top of his browser, looking at the NFL standings. I believe is what he was looking at, looking at the NFL standings, ESPN.com, and he has a Temu ad at the top, which we see all the time, those types of things. Now, Mike, he actually took a picture of the ad that he was served because it was about being balls deep in someone on his birthday. And he took a picture and tweeted it like, why am I getting this Temu ad on ESPN? This is ridiculous. And the internet had to tell Jason that those ads are actually based on your personal search history. And he had to find out in a very harsh way that he outed himself as doing balls deep Google searches. And
he didn't delete it, right? He's like, I'm not deleting anything. Like, I'm keeping this up. Like, ESPN needs to remove this. But yeah, it is kind of funny. Like, somebody clearly has no clue about the internet and they go screenshot.
And he's been an internet writer for like 30 years, which is another problem.
Yeah. So, he's been searching some weird stuff. And it was a card. It was like, I'm balls deep in you or something. It was like a card that you would like send to somebody. So it wasn't like vulgar or anything.
It wasn't to many people.
No, but it wasn't like a sex toy or anything like that. It was just like a card that said some vulgar stuff on it, which still, it's like you're clearly searching for something and then you think it's like not an ad for you, but it's definitely
he showed us his porn search history. I'm pretty sure, which I loved, and is very scandalous. Thanks for outing yourself. We have the playoff draft coming, Mike. Is there any segment you want to do before that, or you want to get to it?
No, that's it. I mean, I got a little hangover hotline. We can just go over some a few comments here, not too many from YouTube and TikTok, but of course, a lot of TikTok, a lot of comments on TikTok lately. Everybody's watching on TikTok, so it's great. Let's do the draft.
This is an annual occasion. We do it every year, the week of the playoffs starting. Me and Mike are going to snake draft our teams, our confidence rankings of who's going to win the Super Bowl. One of us will win. Hopefully we get to the Super Bowl and it's like one of us versus the other. Now, you said you thought you won last year. You thought you won.
I'm pretty sure I won.
But we all know there's a 0% chance you had the Chiefs in our draft. Because I would have had the Chiefs and you had the Niners. We know going into last year's playoffs how this would have played out.
Remember, we swapped. Remember, like halfway through, we did a swap. And I'm like, I'll trade you this team. Because I think you only had like one team left or something. And I traded you. We traded our picks.
We don't normally trade.
I know, but we traded a pick. And I think I got the pick and I won.
I have no recollection of this. You acquired the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes to win the bet?
Yeah. We did.
You think I went to the Eagles? I may have gone to the Eagles.
100% traded. Yeah. I think we traded because you're like, because I think you wanted
the Chiefs Super Bowl win last year.
The Chiefs Super Bowl win. I won it last year because we traded.
Wow.
We have to pull. I'll pull the tapes, but I'm sure somehow we worked out a trade. I don't know if it was on air or off air, but I know I had the win last year. So
Mike is very confident. He's wearing a NASCAR jacket. I feel like we should go with it here. I feel like
I'm ready. So that means you get to go first because you're the loser.
Oh, I get to go first. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, I can go first. I mean, no, I can't go first.
I didn't think I was the loser. That's the I thought you were the loser. So if I'm the loser, I will go first.
You are the loser. Go first for the draft.
I will not take the team that you want to take. I will not.
Thank God. Okay.
I will take the Super Bowl champion. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. The AFC is so easy. Anyone could make the playoffs in the AFC, except it's going to be Lamar because the competition isn't so bad. So that's my first pick.
My first pick is the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy coming back for revenge to win the Super Bowl. I'm all in on San Francisco. So that was an easy one for me.
I'm gonna say this. Yeah. If Sam Darnold wins a Super Bowl for the Niners, you can't count it as a win. How about that?
Sure. Okay.
Because like they might win. I think that's a good idea to say with Darnold they'd win. Because with Purdy, there's no way they're winning a Super Bowl. No way.
All right, who are you getting? Who you got?
I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, the best threat to the Ravens. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills are in the Super Bowl. So I'm glad you gave that one to me.
I feel like I have to go AFC here just to grab something from you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with KC.
I thought you liked the Dolphins' chances in KC.
I do, but I don't want to have too stressful points and I'm gonna give it all to you. You can have Miami here, so that's all you if you want them. They're available.
Well, I'm not taking them this early with all those injuries. You can have the Chiefs and 0 pass catchers for Mahomes. I'll take CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. The only way it's going to happen, Mike, is if they don't have to go to San Francisco in the NFC Championship and something else happens and they get to play at home. But they have to go to San Francisco. I don't know if that's really going to happen.
Oh, well, you're leaving me. It's kind of tough, but I think I'm going to take Detroit here. Confidence level pretty high. They're playing tough. I know they just lost Laporta, which is not good, and they're dumb because they played him last week when they didn't really need to play. But that seems pretty good. I mean, obviously, I like the Bucs and the Rams, but I think the Lions. I also have a Super Bowl bet on the Lions. I have like another $100 on the Lions to win. I think like $700 or something. I don't know when I placed it. Placed a lot of like mid-season, early season bets. So I'm on Detroit here.
Are coming true. Jared Goff, great quarterback at home. Are they going to go at Dallas, at San Francisco to get to the Super Bowl? Probably not. But if I was supposed to happen, they play at home. Maybe it could.
How about this? I'm not scared of Dallas at all.
You're not
no team. Bucs play them, Rams play them. Easy for them.
It's interesting you say that. Who is the best quarterback in the NFC playoffs?
That's really hard. I'm going to say Matt Stafford.
You almost said Dak. You almost did.
No. Dak is not.
Is Stafford better than Dak? Is that true?
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I mean, Stafford's 35. He's your age, my age.
I know. I'm breaking down quick, but he's still playing well.
Okay. My pick here is not going to be a great offense, but it's going to be a great defense. And defense wins championships. It's Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco might go to Baltimore and upset the Ravens. And if it does, I'm happy to have him.
I like that a lot. It's really good. I think I'm gonna have to. I feel like I gotta hedge myself with some. God, what am I gonna do here?
Oh, he's in a tough spot.
I am in a tough spot. I'm gonna go with Miami. I'm gonna go Miami.
Whoa, you got my team?
I crossed myself out. Basically, one of these teams aren't making it all the way, but I got to cover myself in the AFC. I feel like I've already taken pretty strong ones. I still got 4 teams left in the NFC to take, but I like Miami. If they get hot and everybody's healthy and there's no aliens erupting in Miami, they got it. So I like them.
There's something erupting down there. It's not good though. You gave me the Eagles, and I'm going to take them, Mike, because I do think if you're down on the Cowboys and Dak, and the Rams beat the Lions in the playoffs, which a lot of people think will happen, the Eagles go to Dallas, and then if the Eagles win that game, they're in the NFC Championship game the next week, and we've all seen how dangerous they can be. So thank you for leaving the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Texans. I don't think they're going to get far, but they're playing well. They almost lost that Colts game. They should have lost if Indy was a little better at time management instead of just like winding down the clock and throwing it to a guy that I've never heard of to catch.
Well, if that guy just caught the ball, also they would have
yeah. If that guy,
which is crazy.
If that guy caught the ball, he would have done it.
Isn't this crazy? Like we did this starting in the summer in training camp. We're breaking it down every week. We're doing picks, and then on January 5th or 6th, it comes down to the 4th string running back dropping a ball, and you don't win the division and you don't go to the playoffs because that one thing happened. It's like, it's mind-boggling how much time and energy goes into it, and one play changes everything.
I know. All right, so I'm on the Texans. Who you got? There's not many left.
I like CJ Stroud. I'll take your best quarterback in the NFC, I guess. Matt Stafford and the Rams. They could go to Detroit and win that game. I don't think they'll win many more than that.
Well, I'm gonna go with the second best in the NFC. I'm gonna go with the Bucks and Baker. Listen. I'm believing in Baker. Crazier things have happened. We've seen Eli Manning make it all the way to the Super Bowl, and this could be another game where they just play teams that are beat up the whole road there. They could play Philly. They could then go play Detroit, and then all of a sudden you're playing San Francisco, and maybe somebody's injured there, and then all of a sudden the Bucks are in the Super Bowl, and you're like, what the hell just happened? And that's what I'm envisioning for the Bucks.
Wow, you're channeling our Bucks friends in Tampa right now. They're salivating at the thought of a Super Bowl run with Baker on that cheap contract. They're going to have to pay him so much next year if anything like that happens. But I think they're going to pay him anyway because they got their QB.
They're great.
Eagles Bucks is a great first round matchup. It might be like the closest one, like toss up, like either team could definitely win 50-50. I'm going to go with the Packers. Jordan Love might actually be the best quarterback in the NFC the last 6 weeks. They go to Dallas. I mean, you got to pick someone to win that game.
That's true. Yeah. I could see Green Bay win at Dallas. So I agree with you. I don't love him. I don't know, something about it. It just never seems right. But then you see all the stats matched up with him and Rodgers and Brett Favre. And it's like, wow, he's actually great. And Green Bay is doing a great job. And they did a great job, like teaching him and getting him ready for all this. So I like it. I don't know. I haven't seen much of him in like cutthroat games. Like there's some teams you watch a lot more of. Weirdly, I feel like I watched a ton of Atlanta Falcons and Carolina games this season, and I don't know why, because I feel like I gambled on them.
That's a bad year for you. Yeah.
It was really bad.
Well, you always say bet on bad teams is a great key.
So I watched a lot of bad teams. Obviously, last one left, Pittsburgh.
Oof.
They shouldn't be in the playoffs. They shouldn't even.
You don't have to take them. Should we just give them out? Like not take the last team?
Just void it. Just be like, no.
Yeah, just because they're that bad, right? They are that bad.
They're not going to make it past the first round. So it's just like a fun pick. Like, oh, we have it this week, and next week we'll say they're gone.
Who's more likely to pull off an upset in the 7-2 matchups? Let's just ask that question on the way out here. Is it the Packers against the Cowboys, or is it the Steelers against the Bills? Because both seem super unlikely.
I think it's Pittsburgh against the Bills. I think that's the most likely. I know TJ Watt is out. I feel like the defense could play well. Buffalo's like a little iffy. If it's snowing, I heard like a polar vortex is hitting this week, and it's going to be
everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be freezing. It's going to be snowing. If Buffalo is the way it was last year when there was like snow on people's cars and they couldn't leave, this could be a wild game, and Pittsburgh could come out a winner.
Wow.
I have no idea. Then who do they play? Do they play Baltimore?
They would have to play Baltimore, so they wouldn't make it much further, except they just beat Baltimore with Tyler Huntley. Not the same.
The same, but you never know. But yeah, I could also see Green Bay beat Dallas. So I'm not confident in both of those teams. So it's a fun week.
Recap the draft. I have the Ravens, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Browns, the Rams, and the Packers. I love those teams. Thank you for letting me have them.
You're welcome. I love my teams too. I have I have a Super Bowl matchup right here. San Francisco
49ers Chiefs.
Yeah,
Never seen that before.
Jimmy
G actually lost to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Don't forget that.
Jimmy G.
With that matchup, Niners Chiefs.
Jimmy G's not good. Jimmy
G.
G's been benched for a rookie, so he's out.
He came in for Vegas yesterday, and I was like, oh, he's kind of okay. Better than this O'Connell guy. Why hasn't Jimmy G been playing?
I don't think the coach likes him. I think it's just like, we're done with you. You're moving on.
It's too pretty.
Jimmy G got paid so much money just to like be there.
That's true. I know we had to wrap up the show. We're not giving out our full picks because we're in a contest. It's very tightly guarded.
No.
You're spending a lot of money.
I'm gonna talk picks with our friend Sam on Wednesday. We'll go over some picks, some likes. The key to gambling on the playoffs, I think, is props. I don't think it's always just a winner and loser. Props are fun. You get those first touchdowns, anytime touchdowns, a lot of fun. Get a lot of good odds. Like you get like a Jared Goff running QB sneak or whatever. Get some odds on that. But yeah, it's a tough week, and I'm going to see kind of what comes out. It's still early. The lines are kind of settling a little bit. But yeah, Wednesday I'm going to do a show. I think also Thomas is doing a little entertainment arena, going to give us some odds on the next award shows, kind of recap the Golden Globes a little bit. By the way, did you watch Golden Globes last night?
No, it's during the Dolphins game.
Oh, you didn't watch it? I was watching it. Joe Coy, terrible. It was awkward and like weird.
I saw he bombed. Was it the Taylor Swift joke that bombed, or was it everything?
It was kind of everything. It was just a weird vibe. Then he started like calling out his writers, and it was just, it's not a good look. Like if you're bombing, just continue on. Like you don't have to acknowledge the bombing, but it wasn't good. But it felt like,
I'll say this though. I saw people speculating about this. Did Joe Coy bomb on purpose to get people talking about him at the Golden Globes? Because if he did a mediocre job and didn't bomb, he didn't just make our show. So that's an example of
the problem is, I think him bombing just made him go into irrelevance of never hosting or never doing another comedy show again. And that's where he's going to be now. Because it wasn't like good bombing. There weren't good jokes that were like awkward. They were just bad jokes that just didn't land. And he didn't really say anything. And I know he got the job 10 days ago, but like Hollywood's full of people to write and help you get prepared. But
isn't that a Golden Globes problem? Why did they just hire the host 10 days ago?
Golden Globes has a problem of selling the show. They couldn't even get anybody to air the show. It was, I think CBS did a 1-year deal with them just to see how it would operate. But yeah, Golden Globes is like the weird Hollywood foreign press who don't even like really do much. So it's just like a fun award show that no one really cares about. And as you can see, they just hire people on a whim like a few days before the show. So that's what
I
happened.
do love the Beverly Hilton. I'll just say I was there for happy hour one time, and Charles Barkley was at the bar by himself, went up to say hi, just start chatting. So you see celebrities there, you see the ballroom there. And last night we saw Paul Giamatti stop at the In-N-Out Burger on his way home from the Beverly Hilton.
And so Westwood.
There's a nice vibe going.
I used to stop at that one a lot. I used to go to Westwood a lot. And yeah.
Now we know. Midnight after the Golden Globes is the time to go.
Yeah, we'll be there next year. All right, good show. Check out thesportshangover.com. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us not only on YouTube, but TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Good show. See ya.